Talo Falava, and good evening. There have been disturbing developments over the last few days that I and the FAST Party consider and interpret as a direct attack on the rule of law intended to dismantle our country's constitution and prevent the judiciary from undertaking its role of interpreting the law and keeping the caretaker government accountable. The HRPP have, through their secretary and former associate minister, made unfounded accusations against the judiciary, stating that the Chief Justice is incompetent, without any form of proper factual evidence, and then using such outrageous and politically motivated allegations as an excuse to use the Judicial Services Commission, the JSC, to suspend or remove the Chief Justice and many other Supreme Court justices that they may wish to. Over the past 3, almost 4 months, we have seen the unconscionable and dirty tactics played out by a man who refuses to accept defeat, and now in the last desperate attempt to retain power, we have their attack on the rule of law. I can say unequivocally that contrary to the HRPP's lies and mistruths, neither I nor Lauli nor any member of FAST has met with the Chief Justice or any other Supreme Court judges, in secret or in private. Let me further correct that lie and say this. Unlike Tuilaepa, who has personally visited the court complex at Mulinu'u, attempting to speak to at least 3 sitting Supreme Court judges before the 17th of May cases were decided, accompanied by others, and who has also sent his former MPs to attempt to visit judges in their private homes to speak with them prior to court hearings. We have not sought to undermine the independence of the judiciary in such an inappropriate manner. This type of behavior is outrageous and strikes at the heart of what is good, what is right, and the conventions which are at the heart of our democracy. No such meetings ever took place. This type of misinformation is absolutely consistent with the recent slurs on the reputation of Lauli, which we now find was a complete lie, motivated by malice and assisted by the failure by journalists to independently check their facts and seek and honor the truth. HRPP further accuses the judiciary of bias in their court rulings, in the election petitions brought by FAST candidates and other matters, because they have been unsuccessful in their court cases, a word in cases they have lost. Is this the attitude and behavior of people you wish to lead you? As with court systems in all functioning democracies, the findings and subsequent decisions by the courts are based on evidence and legal principles. Where the courts have ruled in favor of FAST cases are based on the merits of legal principles and the evidence provided, and not on any bias on the part of the court. The evidence and legal principles advanced by FAST in their cases reflect the depth of hard work and research put in by the party and their legal team. It is concerning that the caretaker is now seeking to suspend or remove the Honourable Chief Justice, whilst the sitting of the Court of Appeal is pending this Friday, 16th July, on highly important matters such as the legality of the swearing in of FAST members on the 24th of May and the proclamation by the Head of State to convene Parliament on 20th May and the legitimate party to form and lead the government of Samoa. This case follows efforts by Tuilepa, the caretaker government and HRPP party to advise the making of unlawful proclamations by the Head of State, 3 of which the court has already ruled as unlawful. The attack on the Chief Justice is not only an attack on the judiciary and Samoa's court system, but it is also a direct attack on Samoa's constitution and the laws which protect, guide, and allow us to live together in peace. In short, it is a direct assault on the rule of law as it operates in Samoa. Remove the law and the courts, and we are left with no protection from a dictator and his tyranny, where one man decides how we live and how we die. The caretaker government continues to cling onto power as the country is under the COVID-19 pandemic state of emergency and have already used unconstitutional proclamations by the Head of State to retain power and continue to rule the country. Under the Constitution, the judiciary is the only legal body and the authority and the power to interpret and render final pronouncements on the Constitution and the law in Samoa. Tuilepa and the HRPP supporters and their advisors in their media releases have stated that the Head of State is above the law and possesses powers to direct everything and everyone, including the police, in a manner which is not authorized by the Constitution, and the only protection which you and I have is through our country's courts. On 9 April, our people expressed their will through their votes. It is going on to 4 months now, and Tuilepa and the caretaker government and the HRPP in their behavior continue to disregard the will of the people expressed through the general elections. They have instead blamed FAST and the judiciary for their loss. The Constitution, founded by our forefathers almost 60 years ago, has never presented us with the magnitude of these problems because of the problems created by Tuilepa have been created because of his refusal to follow accepted conventions, including the one that requires the loser of an election to leave office once the results are confirmed, and where his party do not have the majority of votes in Parliament. Under these challenging times, I and the FAST Party proclaim our continuing support of the rule of law and our judiciary as the last bastion and our nation's last hope to defend and restore our democracy, our freedom, and our country's dignity. It is clear now that the intent and design behind the 3 controversial bills rushed through and passed by Parliament last year were to weaken the role of the Chief Justice and the courts to allow Tuilepa to have his way in all things. Parliament has been prevented from sitting, and the judiciary is the remaining and standing pillar left of our democracy that holds our last hope to defend our democracy. Tuilaepa and the caretaker government is now moving to take full control of the judiciary using unfounded claims so they can suspend the Chief Justice and give notice to the judiciary. These are the red flags and warning signs taken from a tyrant's playbook as he attempts to move us to a dictatorship and the absolute rule by one. As the country continues under the pandemic state of emergency, it is my earnest and constant prayer that we all remain calm so as not to provide an excuse for the further abuse of emergency orders and unnecessary restrictions on trade and personal liberties by the caretaker government, but for all of us to continue to protect, defend, and uphold the rule of law and the democratic principles that have steered our nation well over the last 59 years as an independent country, and await the final decisions in matters which will define us for the next 5 years. May God continue to watch over Samoa and light her paths. So forth.